Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to talk about two new types of numbers. We're going to talk about prime numbers, and we're also going to talk about composite numbers. And so you are going to, after this lesson, be able to determine if a number is prime or composite, sorry. Your divisibility rules are going to be very, very helpful in this lesson, so please make sure you have them nearby or you have them memorized. All right, so a couple of vocab words to get us started. So what is a prime number? So a prime number is divisible by only the number 1 and itself. Well, what do I mean by that? So the number 3, the only way you can get it is by multiplying 1 times 3. So 1 goes into it evenly, 3 goes into it evenly, and nothing else. Same thing for the number 7. The only way you get 7 is by 1 times 7 because 7 goes into it evenly and so does 1, but no other number. And same thing with the number 5, 11, and 13. The only number that goes into those evenly are the number 1 and the number itself. Okay, so what would the next prime number be after 13? Well, it's not 14 because 14 is even, which means 2 goes into it. It's not 15 because if you add up 1 plus 5, that will give you 6, which means that 3 goes into it. It's not 16 because 16 is even, which means 2 goes into it. And the number is actually 17. The next prime number after 13 is 17 because none of the divisibility rules will work on 17. The only two numbers that go into 17 are 1 and itself. All right, so now let's take a look at composite numbers. So a composite number is the opposite of a prime number. It's a number that is divisible by more than 2 numbers, which means it's divisible by 1 itself and another number. So in the case of 4, the number 1 goes into 4, the number 4 goes into 4, but the number 2 also goes into 4. If you look at the number 9, the number 1 goes into 9, the number 9 goes into 9, but 3 also goes into 9. So all of these numbers have more than 2 numbers that go into them, so 3 or more. So what would the next composite number be? Well, it would be 10 because the number 1 goes into 10, the number 2 goes into 10, the number 5 goes into 10, and the number 10 goes into 10. And all of those numbers go in evenly without a remainder. All right, so this is very important. The number 1 and the number 0, they're not considered prime or composite. They are neither. And so we're just going to consider them integers. They are not prime and they are not composite numbers. Okay, so let's talk about which one of these are prime and which one of these are composite. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to determine what they are divisible by. So the number 16 is divisible by the number 1, by the number 16. The number 2 also goes into it because it's an even number. The number 3 does not go into it, but 4 goes into it. 5 does not, 6 does not, 7 does not, but 8 does. Okay, so based on these factors, these numbers that go into 16, is it prime or composite? And you should say that it is composite because it has more than one number that goes into it. Let's take a look at the number 43. So 1 goes into 43, 43 goes into 43. 2 would not work, 3 would not work because 4 plus 3 is 7. 4 would not work, 5 would not work, 6 would not work because 2 and 3 don't work. 9 would not work because 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 does not go into 9 does not go into 7 evenly, and 10 would not work. Now, I do want to say this. There could be larger numbers that go into 43, such as the number 17, for example. Right now, we're just working with some basic divisibility rules, and so this number is prime. Only the number 1 and the number 43 go into it. Now, the number 1, you should think right off the bat, that is neither. Because I just told you the number 1 and the number 0 are going to be neither. So here we have the number 39. So 1 goes into 39, 39 goes into 39. 2 will not work because it ends in a 9. 3 will work. 3 plus 9 is 12. And so you know that 3 goes into it. Now I want to show you a quick trick. If I'm asking you if a number is prime or composite, as soon as you get to that third number, you can stop and you can call it composite because it only needs 3 numbers to go into it in order for it to be composite. And so we can actually stop right there. All right, the number 0, you should think again, nope, that's going to be neither. The number 27, so 1 goes into 27, 27 goes into 27. It ends in a 7, so 2 won't work, but 3 does work because 2 plus 7 is 9. So this one is composite. All right, 53, so 1 goes into 53, 53 goes into 53, 2 will not work, 3 will not work because 5 plus 3 is 8, 4 will not work, 5 will not work, 6 won't work because 2 and 3 don't work, 9 will not work because 5 plus 3 is 8 and 9 does not go into 8 evenly, and 10 will not work. So we're going to go ahead and label this as prime. All right, now there's a little prime and composite activity that you'll have on your notes. So here's a grid of the numbers 1 through 100. And I'm actually going to skip ahead to the directions so you can look at the grid. And so it gives you your step-by-step directions. So in pencil, you're going to cross out the number 1 because number 1 is neither prime or composite. Then, using a blue pen or a blue marker, a blue colored pencil crayon, you're going to cross out with a line like this all of the multiples for 2 except the number 2. Do not cross out the number 2. Using red, you're going to cross out all the multiples of 3 except for 3. And when I say multiples, what I'm talking about is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, but you're not going to do 3. Okay, with an orange, let's see, I don't have orange here, do I? Oh, maybe I do. Okay, so with an orange marker, you're going to cross out all the multiples of 5 except for 5. And with green, you're going to cross out all of the multiples of 7 except for 7. If you follow these directions to a T, what you're going to end up with is 25 numbers that are not crossed out. And I want you to circle those 25 numbers. Those 25 numbers are the 25 prime numbers under 100. And at the bottom, I want you to go ahead and write them out. Now, I'm going to show you the answer key here in a second. So if you don't want to see it yet, don't look. Okay, so this is what your answer key will look like. This is what your grid should look like. And what you're going to do is you're going to circle all of the numbers that are not crossed out. These numbers are going to be all of your prime numbers that are under 100. The key here is make sure that you end up with 25 of them. If you do not end up with 25, you did something wrong. So let's see. 37. And this grid is going to be a fantastic resource as we're doing this unit, because you're often going to need to know offhand if a number is prime or composite, and you can just flip right back to this chart so you can see, oh, did I circle it or did I cross it out? Let's see here, almost done. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I have 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 97 here is 25. And if you want to make it really easy on yourself, go ahead and list them out at the bottom or actually on the side of your notes so you can really quickly reference them when you need them. All right, that is the end of this lesson. Prime and composite is going to be very important going forward, so make sure that you understand it. Ask me questions in class.